2018 has been a big year for Meter. We've pushed our revolutionary new brand further than ever before, selling impressive new products like Scala Hub, Saturo, Labros, Zentra, and other names in all caps that don't really make sense unless you're a scientist. But as we turn to the new year, we have a new product in all caps that will change the world. You may be asking how we managed it, and how the world is accepting it. Here's what members of our team had to say.
We started being confused, and I learned from Kirby that that's where you want to be before enlightenment. You know, we have a robot on Mars, so I think we decided we could do better than that.
This has been an exciting project to work on. It's been a long time in the making. There's been a lot of different departments working on it and really coming up with a platform that speaks to the researcher and making sure that that researcher streamlining their processes is really what this project has been.
We had a lot of testing that we did both here in-house and with some testing partners. We got some good feedback from them and made some adjustments. And then once it was ready for release, we were able to do that without too much problem. And so far we've got really good feedback from our customers, I think both here in the US and internationally with that.
So from what I can tell from working with customers directly and also just asking them, researchers across the board are incredibly excited about this. It is saving them time, it's saving them it's completely just more efficient as a whole.
Manny drew some beautiful pictures and we made the thing look like that. So that's all it takes, I guess.
Yeah, it's been a pretty solid release.
And let's hope, for all of our sakes, that your releases stay solid. The intense research was taxing, sidetracking less important projects such as Scala and Zentra, ultimately requiring the purchase of aircraft to allow for specialists to move freely during experimentation. Here we can see real footage of development at our Meter Pullman labs, a combination of complex chemistry and what the uneducated would call playing in the dirt. Although this is actual footage of us testing our sandcastle instruments alongside. Here he carefully pours the magic serum into the beaker, placing the tubes back perfectly. These chemicals are things not to be messed with, and we take our jobs very seriously in keeping them precise and well measured. Even when experiments go wrong. After years of the rinse and repeat cycle, we finally got the formula correct. Adding the ingredients in the correct order and correct amount, there were so many variables we had to get right that it took us a very long time. But in the end, we were finally successful in creating what we had set out to create. Something beyond ourselves. Something for Santa Claus. Introducing Meter Cane. Meter Cane is an all-in-one holiday enjoyment sensor, telling you how much joy, cheer, and happiness you have in your home at any given time. But let's see how this feat of modern engineering is made here at Meter headquarters. We begin simply by applying the Fleeb juice directly to the cane. This is important because it moisturizes it and allows it to absorb the joy in a room, sucking it directly from your soul. Imagine something similar to how your job sucks the soul from you. After treating it, the cane is then placed on a board. This board is what will support it through the oven, and it will instill it with a sense of hate for the family around the holidays, much like the people who will be using it. We believe our products should fit in where they are. After passing inspection, it's sent through an oven fueled by the souls of previous video interns, myself included. It is then expected after the oven, which makes no sense, and it also makes me wonder where the board went. I guess we'll never know. The cane is then logged by this degenerate. As he logs it, he prepares the others to be soldered. Here we see him placing them into the soldering machine. This is where the canes will be imbued with their electrical ability, allowing you to shock unliked relatives, as well as sense the happiness in the air. As you can tell, it takes a delicate touch. These are sensitive instruments and should not be put in a child's mouth, nor your mouth for that matter, especially after having lead sprayed on them in this machine. Much like Scholar, the Meter Cane has won design awards, although mostly Nordic, and surprisingly one from the North Pole. That being said, all of those awards are the first place winner for looks like something you could eat, but definitely isn't, because we lost a ton of elves. They all ate this, and they all died. After being soldered, the canes are then put into the cheer oven. This bakes in cheer and goodwill towards everyone. This is important in a joy and happiness sensor, because it allows the sensor to judge, but unbiasedly judge. She then slides them in, closes the door, and presses the start button. Miraculously, only milliseconds later, the canes are done and ready to be removed. Is it video magic? Or is it the magic of Christmas in our hearts? We'll never know. After they're removed, the canes are moved to testing. This is to ensure that they can withstand the harsh environment of a home around Christmas time, with all the coming and going, fights, and love going on. These canes have to withstand the most extreme relationships, as well as temperatures if they're thrown outside. The canes are then placed in a box, and they're sent off to be continued processing. Here they're placed on a rack, and they await their new home on the heat bench. Here we see them placed lovingly and shrouded in a warm winter jacket, and then roasted over an open heat gun. It might not be as romantic as a fire, but it's much more efficient. Afterwards, the tips are protected. Again, these are sharp, they are not for eating. As much as they may look like a candy cane, they are a meter cane. After they're covered, the canes are packaged. Some instructions are put in, along with some helpful little tags so that people know what they are and where they came from. These will prove useful later, because most people want to return these. Joke is, we don't accept any returns on this specific product. Now that the canes are packaged, they're ready to go to a new home. Shipping will pull out a box, fold it in the most cheerful of ways. You can see our box technology far surpasses many of our competitors. The canes are then placed inside, and we fill the rest with cotton candy pellets, useful for being shipped, as well as for being eaten. But let me remind you, do not eat the meter cane. It is then weighed, and the receiver is written on the package. And sent off down the line to its new home. Now that Santa Claus and the world has the meter cane, they're ready for Christmas. Thank you for watching. Merry Christmas to all, and to all, a good night.